This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. We keep the hits going. On August 10th, there's another big show in New Orleans for Mid-South. They're Lone and Flair out there, of course, as world champ to work with Butch Reed. On the 11th, we're back at the Omni. And then on the 12th, Championship Wrestling from Florida is going to do a stadium show with Ric Flair and Wahoo McDaniel. Also on the 12th, we're going to do a TV taping in Greenville. And that's, of course, South Carolina. Another TV taping in Shelby on August 13th. Did you have a preference between Shelby and Greenville? It seems like y'all did a lot of tapings in both.
Well, Shelby was closer, which we always liked. Greenville, though, was a bigger venue, more people, a more established town, I think. But anytime you could get a short trip, even if it was only, and I think it was probably 50 miles shorter, man, that's an hour you're not on the road. And that's, if it's each way, that's 2 hours you're not on the road. You felt like you were blessed to get that shorter trip. So we took it.
Let's talk about what aired on the 17th on Mid-Atlantic TV. It's a tag match with you and Ole, and you guys do a promo afterwards. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the promo.
Champions, Ole Arn Anderson fans. Ole, I got to tell you, I've known Ole Anderson, tough, rough competitor in the ring, taking it all. I've never seen you stoop to do something like the unprovoked attack on Magnum TA.
Well, I don't know why I wouldn't call it unprovoked. The thing that I want everybody to know is that we're not playing games. We're for real. We're the tag team champions, and we tend to hang on to these belts. Now, Mr. Caudle, I know maybe you want to go out there with a glass of milk and a couple of cookies and say, oh, Mr. Rhodes, would you please be careful when you're out there wrestling with me? Everybody knows that Dusty Rhodes and Ole Anderson have no love between them. Goes back a little ways. Magnum TA, he's just a big mouth. I listen to Magnum TA and I listen to Dusty Rhodes, and both of them are yelling and screaming and hollering. Now you figure out why. But maybe they're mad, maybe they're frustrated. But when I look at them yelling and hollering, I see a big yellow streak. I know that means that they're covering up because both of them are scared. You want to know how scared they are? You take a look at them. You see what we do to them in the ring. Now, everybody else talks. Dusty talks. He's got the American flag. He's got that young kid, Magnum TA. And they go around and have everybody telling them how great they are. Look here in the ring and see how great Magnum TA is. I'm not bragging. Arn's not bragging. All we're doing is showing the facts. And the facts are that there's Magnum TA laid out. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you see us go drag him anywhere? No. He came in because he had a bunch of his girlfriends, maybe his mom or whoever, was saying, Magnum TA, go out there, go out there. Well, why wasn't he in the ring in the first place? When he did come out, I guarantee you it wasn't because he wanted to. He was scared. I looked in his eyes. Every step of the way he was shaking. And when he finally got in the ring and he tried to blindside Arn, Arn turned around and caught him and pulled him in the ring. And we pounded him a little bit. And for that you say we're pulling something that's low down? We're the best there is. Everybody else yells and hollers and tells everybody how great they are. We are great. Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes, you get ready because the Andersons are coming.
The Minnesota Wrecking Crew fans, now let's go to the ring.
Wow.
Ole's just maybe one of the greatest of all time, is he not? My goodness.
You damn right. And I'm just sitting here hearing that back. I bought every word of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How could you not? And you know, the key to this, and this is a thing worth mentioning, our attack on Magnum had been weeks and weeks before that, right?
Yeah.
But when you just take your TV time and you mention that and remind the audience that happened, it brings it all right to the forefront again. You don't have to hammer it. But if you keep mentioning those guys and those things that happen, let's say you missed a week of TV, or maybe you missed 2 weeks of TV for whatever reason as a fan, we would catch you up every week and we would keep pulling our angle forward. So it didn't matter who you were wrestling. If you still mentioned Dusty and Magnum, and then you would get to those random towns that you were working with those guys, it was just like it happened last week. And that's an art, and it's just keeping it in the forefront of people's thought process to, hey, you know, these guys are in a heavy duty angle with these guys.
A week later, we're going to hear from America's team. Let's take a listen.
Fans back at ringside, young Sam Houston, you can see here that severe injury. Sam at the hands of Arn and Ole Anderson, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, and Tully Blanchard. All three of them on you.
Yes, sir. Well, they broke my arm. You know, broken bones and getting busted up is something that you come to expect when you're a professional wrestler. I just want the chance to wrestle these three men again. The way they did it, it was after the match was over. It was completely uncalled for that I felt. And I've always been taught to stand on my own 2 feet and fight my own battles. And that's why I want to wrestle these men again.
You know what about fighting your own battles? This here was directed at Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Magnum TA. That's where it was directed to. I want to take a look at this thing right now and show you how it came about. Tully Blanchard, Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson, right here you see Tully Blanchard can't leave well enough alone. In there now with the devious Ole and Arn Anderson. And watch right here, that perfect zero baby doll passing Ole Anderson that piece of lead or whatever it was in his knee right here. You're going to see an uncalled for, unjustified. I mean, the low as you can get, Jack, right here on this kid, Sam Houston. Right there, broke his arm, didn't leave well enough alone. They know now, and me and Magnum know now, what this is all about, why it was called, why it was done, and what it's going to get down to.
What this is now is a war. They said anything's fair in war. They say they can break people up. They can try to end careers. Well, I've never seen more fight, more heart in a man than I've seen in Sam Houston. This injury isn't going to stop him. We're not trying to fight anybody's battles for each other. We're going out there all together. Anderson's, Tully Blanchard, all of you are going to pay. This isn't going to go uncounted for. Somebody else is going to get hurt now.
Dusty, they've been doing this. It was Magnum first, Dusty Rhodes, Sam Houston. It looks like they got a list they're going to work on.
Let's go way back, Ole Anderson, way back to 1976 in the parking lot in Atlanta, Georgia, when I got out of my car and you and your brother, Big Gene Anderson, decided to take a tire tool to my head. That's how far it goes back. That's where the beginning started. So now then, by doing this, is just made me know what it's all about. So now you got to prepare yourself for the battle of your life, because Magnum TA, myself, and yes, Sam Houston, now gonna take care of business, and that's gonna be some broken bones on your body when this thing is all over.
America's team, Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, and Sam Houston. Let's go to the ring.
You know, every now and again, we have opportunities to be pitched something for sale, and they'll say, well, here's your bronze level, and here's your silver level, and here's your gold level. I feel like we kind of heard that, the promo version, Sam Houston doing his best to try to spit it out, a new guy, but you could hear, you can almost hear the wheels in Dusty's head turning, like, hang on, I got it. And Dusty's enthusiasm is infectious. It almost wasn't even about what Dusty was saying. Dusty was excited, and his excitement just comes through the screen, does it not?
Yeah. When you say Dusty Rhodes, what's the first thing everybody says? Charisma. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Unparalleled. And that is bigger than any one promo. That is something that you have every time you run into somebody and you're having a one-on-one conversation, or you're talking to 10,000 people, or you're talking to a TV audience. It comes across. And that's what he had. And, you know, Sam, the simple story of this angle was Dusty said at some point, I'm sure early on, this kid, Sam Houston, is a new addition to Jim Crockett Promotions. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a bright future. We like the fact that, you know, he's young and inexperienced, but he's in there learning. And that's all Dusty would have had to have said to give that kid a rub. Not that he overplayed it or overdid it. So we looked at that as him being a protege of Dusty's. That's another way of striking a blow at Dusty. Break his protege's arm. And it's easy for Dusty to step in and pick up that promo. And now you put a cast on Sam's arm. We go around, we do some 6-mans, and the rub for Sam is unbelievable. Can you imagine being partners with those two guys?
No.
I mean, I can't even imagine it. It's a whole different realm, and it's a rub that you keep your entire career. People, you know, still talk about that, I'm sure. So Man, just everybody won on this deal. Everybody. And Ole, when he starts talking, man, it would mesmerize me because articulate, intelligent, got right to the point, and he didn't scream or holler. There's nothing more frightening than a guy that's in your ear and very quietly telling you how he's going to cut your head off and stick it on a post. It's just terrifying.
I feel strongly that saving money is important. You know, if it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at savewithconrad.com. And boy, they love seeing those bunkhouse matches. We laid it out a minute ago. You're going to have one in Greenville on the 26th. It's the main event. And what do you know? You're going to have another one in Richmond on August 30th. But August 31st, we get you in singles action against Sam Houston and Charlotte. But there's also 2 TVs that air. We're going to play a clip from that. And then we'll wrap up the month of August. You're going to have some TV matches against enhancement talent, if you will, with Ole. But then eventually we get an opportunity to hear from America's team. So they're going to have a response to all that's been moving and shaking here in Jim Crockett Promotions with the Andersons. It's Dusty and Magnum, and of course our favorite, Mr. Bob Caudle. Let's take a listen.
All right, fans, with us right here ringside, America's team, of course, Dusty Rhodes, the world's television champion, Magnum TA right here. Dusty, I don't know whether, and I don't think you've even heard of this and they're not aware of it, but I've heard there's an officer somewhere in the building looking for Baby Doll, that he's got papers that he's trying to serve on Baby Doll. Something, I believe, about some money and a credit card in Hawaii or somewhere overseas. I'm not sure what this is all about, Dusty.
Well, let me tell you what, Bob Caudle, I know what it's all about. You know, Baby Doll took it upon herself to go to Honolulu, Hawaii, take my credit card, go over and entertain assorted men, drink assorted liquors, and be a wild woman, a Jezebel, if you will. That's what Baby Doll is. Now, I know nothing about an officer trying to serve her papers, but somebody got to serve somebody along the way. Ole and Arn Anderson got to serve somebody. They talk about how bad they are. Arn Anderson actually stands out here and say, I don't care if you're in a bar, if you're a truck driver, if you're a motorcycle rider, we are the toughest, baddest men in the world today all over this country. He does not mention Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, or Magnum TA on the same breath with these other people because what they persecuted, whatever the word is, to Magnum TA. Now the dudes will be paid in full because Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, has no equal in this profession, none whatsoever. Now I know how to deal with pain, blues, and agony, and I'm going to deal with you the way you can be dealt with. And the world's television title is up for grabs against anybody, anytime, any place.
Magnum.
I don't believe anything else can be said about the Andersons that Dusty hasn't already said. Well, there's a man out there that's got to be thinking about me, and that's Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard, you got to be feeling real good on top of the world, United States heavyweight champion. Well, that belt doesn't belong around your waist, and as long as I got a breath in my body, I'm going to keep pursuing you until I get back what's rightfully mine. Tully, this thing is a long way from being over.
All right, fans, we'll be back. We'll have more action from the ring right after we take this brief timeout.
How great was Dusty Rhodes?
Oh, I assure you, nobody wrote that down on a piece of paper and handed it to him at 12 noon, said, here, memorize this by 8 o'clock.
It's unbelievable, dude. When he assorted liqueurs,
done stole his credit card over there entertaining men. How creative and original and entertaining is that?
Unbelievable. You know, it's no wonder that Jim Crockett Promotions is having their best year in history here in 85. We hope you're digging what we're... Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.